Alright, Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. With the part 6. Wow. Series is taking on a life of its own. Anyway, with the part 6, Jazakumullah khair for watching and sharing and all that good stuff. Go through the rest of the videos. You know, if you're just seeing this now, I've been doing this for, a little while. And this is the 6th part. I'm not sure how long we're going to go. We'll take it until we can't take it no more. Looking at 10 parts though, let's say it that way. Last couple of episodes we talked about how you talk to your kids and that they shouldn't make shirk. But the one thing that the kids used to ask me, and little kids are cool because little kids really don't have shyness to ask you questions, right? Little kids will ask you things. So you're telling the kids, and my kids used to do it. My kids would ask me, well, you tell us to worship Allah, but who is Allah? And then the general traditional answer to that is Astaghfirullah. Don't ask questions like that. Well, you're telling them to worship someone whom they don't know. And of course Allah describes himself, and that's the best resource to go to, is his speech. And he describes himself in a perfect way when he says, and it's my favorite part of the Quran, and those of you who've been on this page know that after we say أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو, that he is Allah and there is no God worthy of worship except for him. عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم, that he is the knower of the visible as well as the witnessed or the visible. And he is the merciful in this life and especially merciful in the next one. He is Allah and there's nothing worthy of worship besides him. Al-Malikul Quddus Us-Salam, that he is the King, the Holy One, the source of all peace. Al-Mu'min al-Muhaymin al-Aziz al-Jabbar al-Mutakabbir. Al-Mu'min, the meaning of it escapes me right now. Al-Muhaymin also. Al-Aziz al-Jabbar, he is the mighty, the one who compels. Al-Mutakabbir, he is the proud. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر سبحان الله عما يشركون, that he is perfect over everything that the people subscribe to him. So Allah is unique in his oneness and complete in his perfection and incomparable to his creation. So there's nothing like him. There's nothing like him. When you tell your kids that, you know that Allah is not black or Allah is not white. Allah is not brown. Allah is not a person. Allah is not a plant or a thing. Allah is incomparable to his creation and there's nothing like him. He's unique in his oneness. هو الله الخالق هو الله الخالق البارئ, that he is Allah, the creator, the fashioner. Al-Musawwir, the shaper. له الأسماء الحسنى, to him belong the most beautiful names. هو الله الخالق البارئ المصور له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض, that whatsoever is in the heavens and the earth glorify him. وهو العزيز الحكيم, and he is the mighty and the wise one. So Allah describes himself in all these traits: wisdom, mercy, compassion. All these traits can be found in human form. That's true. Humans can be merciful. Humans can forgive. Humans can be pretty wise. But the source of forgiveness and the source of wisdom and the source of peace is Allah. And he puts these characteristics to a degree in people whom he wills. But he is Allah. And he is the source of all these characteristics. SubhanAllah. So when you're talking to your kids and you're telling them who they should worship, tell them about Allah. Tell them that Allah loves them. One of the things that Muslim kids don't get enough of is that Allah loves them. That if you make a mistake, yes, you ask Allah's forgiveness for your mistake, but you don't lose hope because of it. And if your mistake involves the people, then you have to rectify that with the people. That's true. But don't ever lose hope in the mercy of Allah. لا تقنطوا من رحمة الله. That Allah doesn't hate you. إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَغْفِرُ الذُّنُوبَ جَمِيعًا. Allah forgives all sins. وَاللَّهُ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. And Allah is the forgiving and the especially merciful. Subhanallah. Like, don't have this idea. Yes, His punishment is real. Not to deny that. I would never tell you to deny Allah's punishment. But His mercy is more than His punishment. So if your daughter has a hair out her hijab, don't beat her up and don't hit your kids anyway, by the way. That's a really big no-no here. And in general, I don't think it works very much. You know, I used to spank my daughters, which, subhanAllah, I feel actually really bad after doing that. But I did that, and my youngest one, Nusayba, she asked me one day, she said, if you love us, why do you hit us? So don't hit your kids. Now, I didn't used to beat them up with belts and objects and everything else. I would just, use my hands. But I'm an ex-professional wrestler, so my hands are actually... Anyway, Allah forgive us all for our mistakes. But and ever since that day, I never did it again. Never spanked them again. Don't hit your kids. Alright? But when you're teaching them about Allah, teach them that Allah's punishment is real and they should fear it. But His mercy is more. His rahmah is more than His punishment. And He is Allah, and He doesn't hate you. Allah doesn't hate you. He may hate certain things. Actually, hate isn't even used. He may not like certain things. Allah doesn't say that He hates disbelievers. He hates this or hates that. He doesn't say that. He says He doesn't like. And not liking something is different than hating it. If I don't like bones in my biryani, doesn't mean I hate biryani itself. That's a very stupid example. Anyways, astaghfirullah. But you know what I'm talking about. Allah doesn't hate you. Can He punish? Sure. Does He forgive? Absolutely. And if your mistake is between you and Him, then you ask His forgiveness for that. But you don't lose hope because of it. When you're teaching your kids to worship Allah, teach them to fall in love with what Allah has revealed about Himself, with His descriptions. وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ. When my servant asks you concerning me, I'm close to him. أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِ. I answer the caller when he calls me. فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي وَلْيُؤْمِنُوا بِي لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْشُدُونَ. So let them accept me and to believe in me, that they might be guided to the right path. SubhanAllah, that's in surah number 2. Read these things. قُلْ عِبَادِيَ الَّذِينَ أَسْرَفُوا عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ لَا تَقْنَطُوا مِنْ رَحْمَةِ اللَّهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَغْفِرُ الذُّنُوبَ جَمِيعًا وَاللَّهُ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. Say to my servants who've wronged themselves. That's every one of us. That's you. That's your kids. That's me. Not your little kids. But once they reach a certain age, لَا تَقْنَطُوا مِنْ رَحْمَةِ اللَّهِ. To not despair the mercy of Allah. That Allah forgives you. He can forgive anything. Allah is able to forgive all things. Even shirk, to the people who don't know, to the ones who don't know that they've done it, and they stop it, Allah can even forgive that. He doesn't generally forgive shirk though, associating partners with Him. He doesn't generally do that. But He can, for those who honestly stop it and repent for it. He can. So Allah forgives all things. So please don't be deluded in thinking that Allah hates you. Allah doesn't hate you. And don't let people make you think that. When you go to the masjid, sometimes you'll hear people yelling and screaming in the mosque. And this is sometimes what the people do to motivate the worshippers. And in some cultures it works, yelling and screaming. But generally, I don't personally like it. But when you leave, know that you have a relationship with Allah. And no one can take that away from you. No one. And no one should be allowed to. And that goes for your kids. When it comes to the parents, when you teach them who to worship, teach them about Allah. And get them to love Him, subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they're going to come closer to Him and end up worshipping Him on His terms. And that is what we call Islam. Anyway, that's the part 6. And that's that part. Jazakumullahu khairan for your support, for liking and for sharing. If you haven't done so, like and share this video with whomever you think would benefit from it. I'll be back with the part 7. And again, that's my message to you today. To instill that in your kids and in yourselves as well. That Allah doesn't hate you. Learn about Him. Study His attributes and His names and His description of Himself. And the more you do that, the more you will love Him and the closer you'll get to Him. ذلك ما عندي وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.